Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Rocks Port Charles, Scout reveals the incredible truth about Drew's shooting at Willow's retrial. In a stunning courtroom moment that left everyone in Port Charles gasping for air, young Scout Quartermain stood up and made a confession that nobody saw coming. During Willow Tate's second trial, Scout finally found the courage to tell the truth about who really shot her father, Drew Cain. The catch: the shooter was someone who had supposedly been dead for months. The Port Charles courthouse erupted into complete chaos when Scout, her voice trembling but determined, turned to the judge and revealed that it was Sam McCall, her late mother figure, who pulled the trigger. Not only that, but Scout claimed she had witnessed the shooting with her own eyes. The confession sent shockwaves through the gallery, leaving attorneys stunned, spectators in disbelief, and even the judge momentarily speechless. A young girl carrying a heavy secret. For weeks, Scout had been living with the weight of what she saw at Elizabeth Weber's house the night Drew was shot. The evidence had pointed towards several people. Some suspected Willow, others thought Michael Corinthos had orchestrated the entire thing to frame his ex-wife. But Scout knew the truth, and the guilt of keeping silent was eating her alive. "I saw her," Scout finally admitted to the courtroom, her young voice breaking under the pressure. "I was at Liz's house, and I saw her come through the door. It was Sam. She had a gun in her hand, and she was so angry." Judge Catherine Vickers leaned forward, her expression shifting from stern to concerned as she studied the frightened girl. "Scout, I need you to understand the gravity of what you're saying. Are you absolutely certain about this?" "Yes," Scout whispered, her eyes welling with tears. "I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I thought if I told someone, it would make everything worse. But I can't let Willow go to prison for something she didn't do." The impossible truth. The confession left everyone reeling because Sam McCall had supposedly died several months earlier. General Hospital staff had mourned her loss. Her family, particularly Jason Morgan, had grieved the woman they loved. The idea that Sam had somehow been alive all this time, that she had orchestrated such a violent act, seemed impossible. Yet Scout's testimony was unwavering and detailed. Michael Corinthos, who sat at the defense table, looked genuinely shocked. He had his own secrets and plans regarding the shooting investigation, but this wasn't part of any of them. Even Drew, who had been receiving updates about his own shooting investigation, appeared stunned into silence when he heard the news through the courtroom's video feed. Anna Devane and Detective Dante Falconer exchanged worried glances. This was no longer just about Willow's trial. This was a completely new investigation. They would need to figure out where Sam had been all these months, why she had suddenly appeared, and most importantly, why she had wanted to shoot Drew badly enough to commit an act she had never shown any capability of committing before. Willow's moment of freedom. District Attorney Jennifer Randall's carefully prepared case suddenly crumbled before her eyes. She had built much of her prosecution on circumstantial evidence and the discovery of the murder weapon at Elizabeth's residence. With Scout's testimony about Sam being the actual shooter, Willow's legal position shifted dramatically. "Your Honor, we move to dismiss all charges against my client," Willow's defense attorney announced, seizing the moment while the courtroom was still reeling from Scout's bombshell confession. Judge Vickers paused, reviewing her notes. Given the significant new evidence presented by the minor witness and the impossibility of Ms. Tate being responsible if Ms. McCall is indeed the shooter, I am inclined to grant the motion to dismiss. However, this court will remain open pending the investigation into the whereabouts and status of Sam McCall. Willow's face flushed with a mixture of relief and confusion. She was being released from suspicion in the shooting, but the price was the revelation that someone she had worked with, someone who had been part of Port Charles fabric, had committed this crime. Scout's burden and bravery. After the proceedings concluded, Scout was escorted from the courtroom by Child Protective Services, who wanted to ensure the young girl received proper psychological support. What she had endured witnessing a violent crime and then having to keep that secret while watching an innocent woman face trial was traumatic beyond measure. Elizabeth Weber, who had stepped in as a maternal figure for Scout, wrapped her arms around the girl once they were away from the media circus outside the courthouse. "You did the right thing," Elizabeth told her gently. "I know it was hard, but you saved Willow's life." "But Sam," Scout's voice wavered. "Everyone said she was dead. How is that possible? And why would she do this?" These were questions that nobody in Port Charles could answer, at least not yet. The investigation begins anew. Back at the Port Charles Police Department, Anna Devane and Dana Falconer stood in front of a whiteboard filled with the case details that now needed to be completely re-examined. "We need to find out everything," Anna said firmly, tapping her pen against the board. "Where has Sam been? Who helped her? And most importantly, what was her motive for shooting Drew?" Dantu ran a hand through his hair, overwhelmed by the implications. "This doesn't make sense. Sam wasn't violent. She wasn't connected to any of Drew's enemies in the mob world. Something else is going on here." "That's exactly what we need to find out," Anna replied. "Because if Sam McCall is alive and dangerous, Port Charles just became a very different place." The ripple effect through Port Charles. The news of Scout's confession spread through Port Charles like wildfire. At General Hospital, nurses and doctors whispered about the shocking revelation. At the Metro Court, patrons debated what could have driven Sam to such an extreme act. And in the Corinthos and Quartermain households, families struggled to process this new reality. For Michael, the revelation was both a relief and a complication. While Willow was now free from suspicion, there remained the pressing question of whether his own involvement in the case would come to light. For now, though, he remained focused on the fact that the woman he loved was no longer facing prison time. "Willow is going home," Michael told Carly at the Metro Court bar later that evening. Scout finally told the truth. Carly's eyes widened with surprise. The truth about who shot Drew. "Does anyone know?" Apparently, Michael said slowly, "It was someone we all thought was dead." What comes next? As Port Charles adjusts to this shocking turn of events, many questions remain unanswered. The investigation into Sam McCall's whereabouts and motivations is just beginning. Authorities will need to determine if anyone else was involved in keeping her hidden and in orchestrating the shooting. And perhaps most importantly, they'll need to figure out why a woman who had no known motive suddenly committed such a violent act. For Scout, the aftermath of her brave testimony will likely include ongoing counseling and support as she processes what she witnessed. For Willow, freedom from criminal charges is bittersweet, knowing that it came at the cost of revealing that someone from her past harbored such anger. And for Port Charles as a whole, this mystery is far from over. With Sam McCall's possible return to the land of the living, nothing is certain anymore. The truth has finally come out. But it's a truth that raises far more questions than it answers. One thing is clear, Scout's courage in the courtroom has changed everything. And as the police department scrambles to find answers, all of Port Charles waits to learn what other secrets might be lurking in the shadows. Next, we will learn about the groundbreaking moment when Tracy Quartermain, the formidable matriarch of the Quartermain dynasty, publicly confessed her errors and extended a profound olive branch to Ronnie, the long-lost sister of the late Monica Quartermain. In the opulent halls of the Quartermain mansion, where secrets and rivalries have long simmered like a pot on the verge of boiling over, Tracy's unexpected admission sent ripples of astonishment through the entire town of Port Charles. For months, tensions had mounted as Tracy, ever the guardian of her family's storied legacy, viewed Ronnie with deep-seated skepticism and biting sarcasm. Ronnie, who had arrived unannounced seeking closure after Monica's untimely passing, found herself caught in the crossfire of Tracy's unyielding judgments. The air was thick with unresolved grief, and every interaction between the two women crackled with the potential for explosion. Tracy, known for her razor-sharp wit and unapologetic demeanor, had repeatedly dismissed Ronnie's attempts to connect with the family, labeling her as an opportunistic outsider eager to exploit Monica's memory for personal gain. Whispers among the staff and echoes of heated arguments had become commonplace, turning the once grand estate into a fortress of suspicion. Yet, on this fateful evening, As golden hues from the setting sun filtered through the tall windows of the drawing room, Tracy orchestrated a private meeting that no one could have anticipated. She had summoned Ronnie under the pretense of a final confrontation before the visitor's impending return to her distant hometown. But fate had other plans woven into the fabric of their shared sorrow. The conversation unfolded in the mansion's lavish library, surrounded by shelves lined with leather-bound volumes that chronicled generations of Quartermaine triumphs and tragedies. Ronnie, dressed in a simple yet elegant black ensemble that mirrored her morning attire, entered with guarded eyes and a posture rigid from repeated rejections. Tracy, seated in her favorite high-backed chair upholstered in deep burgundy velvet, gripped a crystal glass of aged scotch, her signature accessory in moments of high drama. What began as a familiar clash of wills, Ronnie venting her frustration over Tracy's cold-hearted barbs, and Tracy defending her protective instincts toward the family's vulnerabilities, suddenly pivoted into uncharted territory. As Ronnie, in a moment of raw emotion, echoed a quirky idiom that Monica had cherished during their childhood summers by the lake, Tracy's expression shifted from defiance to dawning realization. That phrase, a whimsical blend of nostalgia and humor about chasing fireflies in the family garden, was an intimate relic of the sisters' bond, one that Tracy had witnessed Monica use countless times during family gatherings. It pierced through the armor Tracy had worn like a second skin, revealing Ronnie not as a threat, but as a kindred spirit adrift in the same ocean of loss. The room seemed to hold its breath as Tracy set down her glass, her voice trembling for the first time in years. She delved into specifics, recounting how her own unresolved pain from past family betrayals had blinded her to Ronnie's genuine quest for reconciliation. Inventing no excuses, Tracy wove in tales of Monica's influence on her life, from shared business ventures that saved the LQ to quiet evenings where Monica's wisdom tempered Tracy's fiery impulses. In a cascade of heartfelt words, she expressed regret for every snide remark, every slammed door, and every opportunity denied to Ronnie to partake in the rituals of remembrance. Like lighting candles at Monica's favorite seaside spot or reviewing old photo albums filled with faded images of happier times. This apology wasn't mere words. It was a cathartic release, laced with vivid memories of Monica's laughter echoing through the mansion, now inviting Ronnie to claim her place in that legacy. Delving deeper into the emotional layers, this pivotal exchange highlighted Tracy's evolution from a character defined by iron-fisted control to one capable of profound vulnerability. Historically, Tracy has navigated Port Charles' treacherous social waters with a blend of cunning schemes and unyielding pride, often alienating those closest to her in pursuit of dominance. Her marriage to Luke Spencer, fraught with espionage and betrayals, and her relentless battles over LQ shares underscore a woman who equates weakness with defeat. Yet, confronting Ronnie forced Tracy to confront the ghosts of her own regrets, particularly those tied to Monica, her sister-in-law, whose medical prowess and moral compass often clashed with Tracy's more pragmatic worldview. By choosing empathy over ego, Tracy not only mended a fractured relationship, but also modeled a rare humility for the Quartermaine clan, who have long thrived on internal power struggles. For Ronnie, this moment was a beacon in her journey of self-discovery. Having grown up in the shadows of Monica's illustrious life, she had traveled to Port Charles hoping to unearth fragments of her sister's world, only to face rejection at every turn. The apology affirmed her right to that heritage, allowing her to envision a future where she could contribute to the family's charitable endeavors. Perhaps by supporting the Monica Quartermaine Foundation for Pediatric Care, an initiative Monica had championed before her death. This reconciliation symbolized how Monica's enduring spirit acted as an invisible mediator, drawing disparate souls together to weave a tapestry of healing that transcended bloodlines. In essence, it underscored the show's timeless theme that true strength lies in forgiveness, transforming potential adversaries into allies and restoring balance to a household perpetually on the brink of discord. As the echoes of their dialogue faded into the night, Ronnie departed for the airport with a lightness in her step, carrying not just forgiveness but a handwritten letter from Tracy outlining invitations to future family events, including the annual Quartermaine Holiday Gala and a private memorial hike along the bluff where Monica once proposed innovative hospital expansions. News of the truce traveled faster than a tabloid scandal in Port Charles, reaching the ears of the scattered Quartermain through a flurry of excited texts and urgent calls. Ned, the level-headed CEO of ELQ, arrived first, his face etched with surprise as he embraced Tracy, recalling how Monica had always urged the family to prioritize unity over vendettas. Olivia, Ned's vivacious wife, brought a tray of homemade Italian treats, her laughter breaking the solemn air as she toasted to new beginnings flavored with old recipes, a nod to Monica's love for family feasts. Brooke Lynn, the aspiring music producer with a soft spot for underdogs, teared up while hugging Ronnie's stand-in memory, sharing stories of how Monica mentored her during turbulent teen years, teaching resilience through melody and melody through resilience. Michael, the steadfast heir balancing corporate duties with personal perils, nodded approvingly, seeing parallels to his own reconciliations with past foes like his Uncle Sonny. Even Dante, the principal detective often entangled in mob-related shadows, joined the fold. His presence a reminder of how Monica's ethical guidance had influenced his career choices in law enforcement. The gathering evolved into an impromptu celebration in the grand dining hall, adorned with fresh lily Monica's favorite flower arranged in vases that caught the candlelight. Laughter mingled with tears as anecdotes flowed, tales of Monica's daring boardroom battles, her secret passion for stargazing on the mansion's roof, and her quiet acts of kindness, like anonymously funding scholarships for underprivileged Port Charles youth. Tracy, at the head of the table, surveyed her assembled loved ones with a rare serenity, her eyes glistening as she whispered to the empty chair beside her, "You'd be proud, Mon, this harmony, so elusive in the Quartermain saga, emerged not from conquest or coercion, but from the quiet power of admission." It hinted at upcoming storylines where Ronnie's periodic visits could introduce fresh alliances, perhaps challenging external threats like corporate raiders eyeing the LQ or personal dramas involving hidden family secrets unearthed from Monica's old journals. For the first time in ages, the Quartermain home pulsed with genuine tranquility, a testament to how the simple words, "I'm sorry," could realign destinies and illuminate the path forward in the ever-twisting world of General Hospital.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.